Hey everyone, Blizzard has officially announced the release date for Classic TBC's upcoming content update, the Gods of Zul'Aman, which should drop on March 22nd, followed very closely by the raid a couple days after that on March 24th, which, as of the time of posting this video, should only be 3 days from now. Blizzard published a long blue post talking about all the upcoming changes, and we also had the chance to discover all of that and much more on the PTR servers. So, today we're gonna explore everything that's coming with Phase 4, including all we just mentioned and more. And throughout this, you'll see why if you have a character or two that you've been too lazy to gear up or level up, or if you've been hesitating getting into or back into the game yourself, why Phase 4 is the perfect time to do so. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, let's start with the star of the show, Zul'Aman, a new 10-man raid that's supposed to bridge the gap between players who have been raiding every week since the game released and thus got a lot of gear, and those who haven't. Because this raid is meant to be easy and provide you with a lot of catch-up gear in the process. And the raid is indeed very easy. I tried it on the PTR and we pretty much one-shot everything. Honestly, the door at the start was the real boss for us. Remember, if you want to get it open, you just need 5 players to click the gong and not move or click anything anymore for a few seconds. And you should have an easier time than we did here. But yeah, the raid should be very easy to do for any raid groups with a minimum of gear. Given, on the PTR we had full best in slot gear from Black Tempo and Hyjal, so we were skipping mechanics like crazy. But even on the live servers, it's likely you'll have a couple players with similar gear to carry the DPS or healing, so it should be just as easy for you. Other than that, one thing worth noting is that ZA, Zul'Aman, is on a 3-day lockout instead of the typical 7. That, on top of the fact that each boss drops 1 to 2 items plus badges of justice, which we'll talk more about in a minute, means that you'll be able to gear up your fresh level 70 characters in no time. And of course, from ZA you also get the famous Amani Warbear, a gorgeous mount that you can obtain if you manage to beat the timer that starts once you open the doors and which ends once you beat the first 4 bosses. The timer starts with 20 minutes, but don't worry, because 2 of the 4 bosses you kill add more time to your timer. Nalarak, the bear boss, adds 15 minutes, and the Killzone, the eagle boss, adds 10 minutes. This means that you have exactly 45 minutes from the moment you open the door to the moment you defeat the 4th boss to receive a mount that you can roll for, and that should be very easy to achieve for anyone. Oh, and also, something related to that, when Blizzard hosted the Arena Championship for Classic TBC a few weeks ago, at the end, Ryan Birmingham, lead developer for Classic, was interviewed on the live stream, and he revealed that we should see a new eSport added to Classic TBC, one that involves a certain Warbear in a certain troll instance.
I have to ask you, do we have any hints for more events for TBC eSports?
Sure, I'll give you a little hint. I have this big unruly beard because I hear that there's a big bear coming soon, maybe of an Amani variety. So there's something exciting for that, like Zulian, Amani, Zul'Amani, something. No. Okay. no official announcement yet, but we're planning to do something around that.
I think it's a pretty good hint, but yeah. Well,
this is really cool, because classic guilds have been competing with each other in speedruns since Molten Core a couple years ago, really. And this is Blizzard's way to quote-unquote officially support speedruns. I bet they want to see how it goes with Zul'Aman speedruns, and then I suppose they might do that for actual raids that will release in the future, like Sunwell or even Wrath of the Lich King raids. But they haven't said anything about that, and that's just me speculating at this point. Either way, this is a really cool thing, and you should definitely give it a look. Alright, moving on from Zul'Aman, let's talk about all the cool things that will be added to the game or changed in Phase 4. And a lot of those involve Badges of Justice. Badge of Justice has been a currency that was obtainable from heroic dungeons since Phase 1. But Phase 4, not only will you be able to obtain it from Zul'Aman, but it will also be added to every boss in every raid in existence, from Karazhan to Black Temple and Sunwell in the future. This on its its own is great news for anyone who wants to gear up a new character, because badge gear is quite powerful. There's some badge pieces that myself, for example, who's raiding tier 6 raids every week, am still using. But that's not it, because there will be more powerful, newer pieces added to the badge vendor once Phase 4 drops. Not sure how each one of those pieces compares to the current tier 6 BIS pieces for every class, but chances are you probably have 1 or 2 pieces of gear that you've been just very unlucky with and haven't replaced since Phase 1 or Phase 2, like me with this cloak. And chances are there will be 1 or 2 new Badge of Justice pieces that will be better than what you currently have, even if you've been raiding every week. And of course, if you have a newer character, everything here will be good for you. Other than pieces of gear, you'll notice on the same vendor that Nether Vortex, a reagent used to create powerful pieces of gear from Phase 2, has been added here too. Not only that, but it's tradable now. And so is Primal Nether, the Phase 1 equivalent reagent. So this means that a lot of powerful pieces of gear will go down in price and become more obtainable for newer or returning players, or your new characters. Here's the icing on the cake. If for some reason you can't get invited or don't want to bother doing Karazhan or any other raids to get Badges of Justice, Heroic Dungeons, which required you to reach Revered with the appropriate faction to be able to buy the key to zone into, will only require Honored in Phase 4. And you can reach Honored very easily. In fact, you should already be Honored with most of those factions if you've made it to level 70. So that's an easy way to get badges. Just remember to check what badge daily is active every day in Chatrat and do that first. Stay tuned, by the way, because we'll be doing a gearing guide for Phase 4 very soon on the channel. That way, if you're a new player to the game or have a new character, we'll give you the fastest way to gear up your characters to the current best in slot gear. So subscribe to not miss that. Moving on, there's also a couple new changes that will make it to Phase 4. First off, and probably most importantly for you and your raid, there's a new type of drums. Well, an old type of drum that has been held off up until now. The Greater Drums of Battle. Those are the drums that were in the game code at first, but upon popular demand, Blizzard decided to hold them off until now, because they would have made the game just way too easy if they were kept that way. So, what's different about those drums? Well, at first I thought they would be way stronger, but not really actually. Really, the only difference is that 1, you can now use them while being shapeshifted as a druid, and most importantly 2, they cover a way greater distance. 40 yards instead of 8 yards that we currently have. That should be enough to cover any boss room really, but I could be wrong on that. They still give the tinnitus debuff, by the way, and it's still 2 minutes. So essentially, this means that you no longer need to stack up to give everyone the drums benefit if they're not a leather worker. And you'll be using way less drums overall, since chances are someone else will use them for you quite often. So is it worth switching to greater drums? Honestly, the reagents are almost identical in terms of price, so why not? And if everyone switches to the greater drums, your whole raid will be getting the buff now, which should affect kill times. Another neat addition to Phase 4 is the NPC Zephyr. If you've been around with us since the beta, we talked about this NPC quite a few times, but Blizzard removed it late in the beta. Now with Phase 4, it seems like it's making a comeback into the game. What Zephyr does is very simple and an absolute time saver. She simply allows you to teleport to the Caverns of Time with the click of a button, given you're revered with Keepers of Time. This is not only a huge time saver for everyone, but also a lifesaver in many scenarios. Getting replacements for Hyjal or any of the Caverns of Time dungeons is a nightmare, and everyone who had to deal with that knows it. With this, you can very quickly get things moving for your groups in no time. Of course, again, you do need revered with Keepers of Time to use this teleport. So if you're not revered already, get working on that ASAP. The last change brought with Phase 4 is that Dragonmaw, a very strong warrior mace early on, is now not unique anymore, meaning you can create and equip 2. You still need to be a blacksmith and hammersmith to make them, and they are quite expensive to make and require a whopping 8 primal nether per one. But with primal nether becoming tradable, it should be easier to make one in Phase 4 than it currently is. So I would wait a bit to see what you can get in the meantime if you're a warrior, then work on making one of these on the site. So that's Phase 4, but what has Classic TBC left in store for us? Well, obviously we're still to get Phase 5 with the infamous Sunwell Plateau raid and the Isle of Keldanas, and all its awesome dailies. But that's pretty much it. At this point, everything from the last patch of the game, with the exception of Sunwell and the Isle of Keldanas, is in the game. Which means that Phase 5 will not have any major under-the-hood changes like the previous phases had. But still, Phase 5 should be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see exactly how difficult Sunwell will be and how the race to World First will go for that. As I said earlier, make sure to subscribe because there will be way more Phase 4 content coming to the channel. A Zul'Aman guide, a preparation video, a gearing guide, and much more things in store for you guys. We've had a slumber on the channel for a month and a half now, but we're now back in full force. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to give it a like and subscribe to the Classic WoW Curios channel for more content like this. My name is Numidia, and I will see you guys in the next one very soon. Bye for now.